A blond boy's bleeding hand imprinted itself on a pillar of a small portico in front of a clothing store. The 5 fingers and palm remained imprinted in clear red on the pale cement. His panting breath echoed through the night, as did his screams, muffled by terror. But it seemed as if everyone locked in their homes in the city of Magenta had fallen into a sleep so deep they wouldn't wake even with the end of the world. The young man, however, was awake. He wasn't dreaming, he wasn't having a nightmare, and he was well aware that the apocalypse was very close. Only for him, however, on that gloomy spring night, was the inexorable and dramatic end of his moments on earth unfolding. The palm of his right hand had a deep cut, from which red organic fluid oozed, as if coffee had been expelled from a mocha pot onto a blazing fire. A few minutes earlier, in the silence of the night, he heard the hiss of an axe blade and glimpsed the end of the man's arm as he tried to protect his head from the blow. Alberto was the name of the intended victim, who had parked his car in Piazzale Kennedy. He spent the evening at the disco with his girlfriend, and as soon as he got out of the car, he had to walk a short distance to get to his house. One of many nights, one of many cigarettes lit as soon as he set foot on the ground. The cigarette he smoked in peace after having sex, moments earlier, with his girlfriend, Luisa, the soulmate who couldn't stand smoke, but the young man couldn't even light the Marlboro. As soon as he turned on the lighter and held it close to the blonde, he instinctively realized, thanks to her youthful freshness, that someone was attacking him. So he managed to escape, even before his tormentor struck him the second blow with the axe, the fatal blow. Alberto, panting, couldn't even scream, couldn't even call for help because he had to run. But the pain in his hand was excruciating, and the trail of blood on the asphalt traced the path that led him to the underworld of inevitable death. Some white primroses in the large flower bed adjacent to the sidewalk were stained with fresh red blood. The faster he ran, the less energy he had left to get as far away from his tormentor. He was inevitably bleeding to death. The predator, in those moments, quickly replayed in his mind the steps he had taken to stalk the boy in the previous hours. He saw him dancing happily with his girlfriend in the disco revival hall of the Celebrità Club in Tricate. And then he followed them, at a distance, outside the nightclub, until they retreated to a small field, unaware that their amorous embraces were being witnessed. And above all, Alberto didn't know that those were the last moments of his earthly pleasure, the unconscious last wish before the death sentence. The blond boy reached the small portico, turned toward the shop window, dimly lit from within, and saw his reflection, a reflection of fear and desperation. His eyes were no longer blue, but red with horror. Meanwhile, the killer's calm but relentless footsteps could be heard approaching, certain that his prey could no longer run away because he was almost lifeless. Alberto rested his hands on the glass and looked at himself, while tears of despair and pain streamed from his eyes, falling onto the sidewalk and joining the blood still flowing from his lacerated palm. He also saw the predator right behind him, reflected in the window. He wore a grass-green mask with long tubes instead of ears. Alberto couldn't believe his eyes. The mask, complete with a large bulbous nose and a wide mouth with large white teeth, belonged to the animated character Shrek. It was the smiling, friendly mask of the good ogre, beloved by children, but on the head of a ruthless and cruel real man, that of the murderer. The second blow of the axe landed relentlessly on the back of the victim's neck, and he fell dying to the ground. The body, now lifeless, lay prone on the portico floor, blood gushing freely from the slashed nape. The executioner thought of some words he'd read on a Chabad website, which he remembered perfectly. There is nothing after life because life never ends. Rather, it rises and reaches ever higher. Indeed, the soul is freed from the body and draws ever closer to its source. On the ground at his feet was a body composed of tissue and cells, a shell containing a living soul, and the killer observed it for a few moments, hoping to see it emerge. The lifeless corpse was merely flesh and bone, destined to rot and nothing more. The head, covered by the Shrek mask, tilted back slightly, and from the slit of its mouth came a loud, macabre laugh, along with a few words in a low, hoarse voice.
You're all like the mannequin in this store.
Finally, the killer took something from his pocket. It was a photograph clipped from a newspaper, which he placed on the back of his first victim. It depicted the face of a person, that of the former Parma RIS chief, Salvatore Longobucco.